What's up, everybody? Welcome to Dad's Expensive Hobby.
What's up?
If you're new to the channel, thanks for checking us out. And if you're a returning viewer and you aren't subscribed, you might want to do that. And speaking of subscribers, this is our 600 subscriber celebration video. Thank you all so much. We appreciate each and every one of you. And today we are taking a look at the Dragon Stars Bardock versus First Form Frieza Battlepack. This is the first battle pack review I have gotten to do. I love these things. I think they're awesome, and this one is no exception. Let's look at the box really quick because it's got some fantastic artwork here on the front, and check this one out here on the back. That looks super awesome, but we'll use it as a reference again here in a little bit once we get the figures out. And speaking of that, let's get them out of the box real quick. All right, now that we got them out of the box, they look really cool. I can already tell you the scale is a little off with Frieza, but we'll dig into that more in a little bit. Let's actually look at Bardock first and see what he's all about. But before we get into him, let's see how tall he is. And up to the top of his spiky hair, he is about 6 1/4 inches, not quite 6 1/2, which would make him 16 centimeters, 16 1/4, something like that. Let's take a look at him. He, oddly enough, has rubber hair. He is the 4th Dragon Stars figure I have fiddled with that has rubber hair. As a matter of fact, I think his whole freaking head is rubber. Yeah, his face and everything, if you can see that, is rubber. Now don't get me wrong, the paint on it looks really good. The scar on his cheek and his face and stuff, that looks really good, and his bandana. But yeah, that's rubber, and that's weird. And I honestly don't really like it in this case, because if you can see that, the packaging bent the damn hair. I could probably heat that up with a hair dryer and fix it, but I don't really like that. That makes me mad.
Fuck.
And normally with figures that have a head that's got rubber on it, the neck moves better, and it kind of performs like a double ball peg, but not in this case. His neck doesn't move at all. It kind of sucks. His paint on his armor, though, looks awesome. Look at the armor, the paint on that. Nice matte finish everywhere. The green is kind of light and yellowy. I'm not a big fan of that, but man, the paint looks really clean. His tail looks nice. It's connected down here to these right here, but we'll talk more about that here in a minute. And there's no wash on it, but that's okay. Everything else, the color plastic, the wrist gauntlets and the shin gauntlets, I lied, there's paint on the toes, and it looks pretty good. Not too terrible. A little thin down here on the toes, but it still looks pretty good. Like I said, everything else is colored plastic. Well, his chest is actually painted now that I'm looking at it. His chest is painted, and they did a good job of matching it up to the rest of his skin, and especially like his rubber face matches the rest of his skin. And speaking of skin, why is he kind of olive drab color? He's like Turles's skin tone. Are they trying to tell us he's like Turles's illegitimate dad or what? But anyways, that's about all for his paint detail. Let's see how he moves really quick. His head is on a double ball peg, or single ball peg, excuse me, so it's just going to kind of wiggle around, unfortunately. His shoulders, they come out to about there. Not a big bunch of range as far as out to the side for the shoulders. I mean, I'm not going to cry about it, but it's there. Can go all the way around. Got a bicep swivel. Double jointed elbow that only comes up to 90. That kind of sucks. I don't really like that. And his wrist is on a ball hinge that you actually get a pretty decent amount of range out of. No diaphragm break because it is a Dragon Stars, and no shoulder, like butterfly joint in the shoulder, per the usual with a Dragon Star. So, you know, we knew that was coming. He does have a twist at the waist. These do not move, so that also kind of sucks for Bardock, and they're not super duper flexible. So his legs are only coming out to here to the sides. He can front kick a little bit, but it's that kind of hip style where it makes the leg kind of round out, so that's not awesome. And just like a bunch of the other figures we reviewed here lately, they gave him a butt.
Son of a bitch!
Anyways, so no kickback either. You will get a little bit of swivel because the legs are just up on a ball peg up in there, so you can get some thigh swivel out of it. He's got a double jointed knee, a little bit past 90, not horrible, but I don't like the gangly look of his lower leg. That is just way too long. If you can see that in comparison to his butt, it's way above it, and I don't really like that. The bottom of the leg is way too long. And his ankles, they are a ball hinge down here. You get a little bit of up and down, no ankle rocker out of them, so that sucks, and no toe hinge, which doesn't break my heart, but these are Dragon Stars and they don't do toe hinges. So his articulation isn't super great, and his forearms are super long too. I mentioned the lower legs are super long. His forearms are really long, and I'm not a big fan of that. His aesthetic isn't great, to be quite honest. Look at him; he's very gangly kind of looking, but the paint is fantastic. Can't complain there. But his overall aesthetic is not fantastic. Let's stand him next to a couple of other Bardock figures and see how he looks with them. All right, here he is next to the SH Figuarts Bardock figure, and as you can clearly tell, there is a difference in skin tone right there. He is much, much darker. This is, I think they're giving us a subliminal message, like an Easter egg, that he's Turles' illegitimate dad. But they both look really, really good. I definitely got to give the edge to the SH Figuarts. I like the green, and I like the more matte look to the figure, but they still look really good. And here he is next to the SH Figuarts Full Power Broly. I just wanted to have them compared just so you can kind of see a size difference. And I love looking at Broly. He looks really, really awesome. And here he is next to the Marvel Select Red Hulk. Again, just for fun, I wanted to stand him beside another awesome looking large figure, and I think they look fantastic. Now for his accessories, he's a Dragon Star. He don't come with much, but he does come with 4 hands. He comes with these little grabbing hands on him in the package. And he comes with a set of little fist hands. Nothing fantastic, but they still look pretty good. And he comes with this energy effect piece right here. This is one we've seen countless times in other Dragon Stars battle packs and stuff like that. Sometimes it's yellow, sometimes it's blue, sometimes it's red or whatever. But it looks pretty good nonetheless. It's just a little flexible rubber plastic. Okay, all that looks really good. I like the look of all that stuff. All right, let's take a look at Frieza, because this figure looks really good. To the top of his head, he is just about 5 1/4 inches, and that's not including the little horns on his head, which would make him at 13 centimeters. So he's about the same height as Super Saiyan Gohan from SH Figuarts. But let's look at his paint. His paint is fantastic. Look at that face. That is all paint. That looks really good. Nice matte finish on it. Look at the ears. That looks super duper good. Both ears do. Well, this one's got a little bleed over right there, but not a big deal. Not for a $20 figure, more or less. Horns are painted, and they've got a nice matte finish. Nice glossy finish on the purple part of his head. His armor has a nice kind of matte to satin finish on the shoulders. No panel lining, but that still looks really good. And the chest and upper shoulders right through here, that is painted well, and it matches his neck, which is colored plastic, pretty well as well. I need to quit saying the word well. His armor painted really, really well. Very clean looking, front and back. Gauntlets on his wrists look really good. Gauntlets on his shins look really good. Toenails and fingernails aren't painted.
Not a chance. Not this time.
But that's okay. But, it's like, again, it's a $20 figure, but it would have been cool if they had been there. And, there's no kind of wash or anything on the texture of his arms and legs. And the texture of his arms and legs is actually really good. So far, this figure looks really nice. Look at his tail here. It's a little more satiny than his arms and legs are, but that's okay. It looks really good. And the paint down here on the end of it is nice as well. Let's talk about his articulation. His little head will wiggle around here a little bit, which is not too bad. And he is sitting on just a ball peg. His neck doesn't move very well at all, but that's okay. Now, his shoulder pads do not move, and that kind of sucks.
Fuck.
But his shoulders still come up to that with 0 effort, so that's really, really good. If these things right here, shoulder pads moved, his shoulders would go up even further, and if they weren't there, his shoulders would give us a full rotation. He's got a bicep swivel, double jointed elbow with really good range, and they look good. And his wrist, of course, is on a ball hinge that gives us nice movement down there. Now, it's a Dragon Stars, so no diaphragm break, but he does get plenty of twist at the waist and just a little bit of wobble, because that is a ball peg that's in there that it twists around on. His legs, fantastic split. That is really, really good. And they are just on little ball pegs up in there, if you can see that. And you can get some twist out of them. Pretty darn good kick. Really a very minimal like twisting to the outside. Now he has a tail, so he doesn't kick back too well. Double jointed knee. lots of range, and the proportions in the leg are pretty good as well. No shin swivel. Typical Frieza foot, ball hinge down there as his entire ankle, and it goes up and down pretty well, and it has a little bit of rocker to it as well. So that's pretty darn good. Let's look at his tail really quick. I'm gonna pop it off. Ow. It just kind of plugs in, and it's on a little ball hinge, and it'll kind of hinge up and down and swivel all around. And the tail has a brake in it, so it moves really good, and I like it a lot. And you know, just like any figure that has a tail, you kind of need the tail to stand it up because the tail wants to knock it over. But this Frieza figure, holy crap, is actually really good. Now his scale, he's too tall, too big of a figure, you know, for a Frieza figure.
That's a huge bitch.
But that is literally my only, well, my complaint would be that these don't move and that he's too tall, and that is it. Everything else about this Frieza figure is really, really good. He looks fantastic. He moves really well. His paint is excellent. This is probably one of the top 3 or 4 Dragon Stars figures there are. This thing is really awesome. And unfortunately, that kind of falls in line with the kind of the curse of a 2-pack. You usually get one really good figure and then one that's kind of trash, and that's kind of the case here, because Bardock, unfortunately, looks kind of cool, and he's Bardock and everybody loves Bardock, but he's the figure itself's not that great. Yeah, Frieza looks really, really good. Let's get him next to some other Frieza figures and see how he looks with them. And here he is next to the SH Figuarts First Form Frieza, and I think they look really cool together. And obviously, you know, the SH Figuarts one is much smaller and closer to actual scale than the Dragon Stars, but they look fantastic next to each other. And here he is next to the Dragon Stars Fourth Form Frieza, and I think they both look really cool next to each other. If I could get the Fourth Form Frieza to be able to stand up a little bit taller, he would be like maybe a ½ an inch taller than the First Form Frieza, but they still look really good. And just because I love using Broly, here he is next to the SH Figuarts Full Power Broly. And my, that's a nice looking set. Now for accessories, Frieza comes with 2 separate hands on him in the package. He comes with a booger picker hand right here on him, and he comes with a little fist hand on him in the package, and they both look really, really good. And he's also comes with another fist hand, but he also has like a little hand making like an L, almost like he's calling somebody a loser or something, and I like that little hand. And he comes with this energy effect right here that looks really good. It's kind of a pearlescent kind of plastic, and it's got some nice detail all over it, and it looks pretty darn good. It looks a little bit better than Bardock's energy effect. All right, all that looked really, really good. Time for the final verdict on this 2-pack. It's a really good 2-pack. If you don't have it, I suggest you try and track one down. This is a good set. Frieza, his quality definitely outweighs Bardock's, but that's more in just kind of the articulation and just Bardock's aesthetic as far as the gangliness is a little off. But Frieza, this Frieza alone sells this 2-pack, and his accessories look pretty good. You know, that energy effect right there, that looks awesome. And Bardock comes with accessories, so you know, anytime you can get some Dragon Stars with effect pieces and accessories, I definitely say jump all over it. I would give this 2-pack, this battle pack, I would give it an A. I mean, there's a little bit of room for improvement, but not much. Maybe just some work on Bardock himself. But this is a really good figure. That's all I've got for these guys. If you have not subscribed yet, and I know that a lot of you that are watching haven't subscribed, I see you. Click pause, scroll down, click subscribe, give us a like, give us a comment. And with all that said, this has been Dad with Dad's Expensive Hobby, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.